Hey, howdy. Man, I have a cautionary tale for you today. It's kind of sweet, mostly scary, but this is the do-it-yourselfer dryer of death. Man, do I have a story for you. So, yesterday I'm walking a job to do a panel change in a 1970s house. Federal Pacific panel, different story. As we're walking back from the garage through the laundry into the house, I notice, and you'll see this picture, the homeowner stops and he goes, "Oh, we get shocked sometimes off of our appliances in here, our dryer." And I just look at him. He goes, "Yeah, well, if we touch the washer and the dryer at the same time, we get shocked." And all of a sudden, I notice that the shelf, I got this picture up for myself right now. He has two pool noodles insulating insulating a metal shelf that's between the two appliances. And I look and I'm concerned and super curious because this sounds like it's going to get interesting. He goes, "Yeah, I tried to fix it. Now I'm interested." And I ran a ground wire from the washing machine to my dryer plug. Now I'm intrigued because this house was built in '74. There is no ground wire in that plug. And I asked the nice man. He's a great guy, by the way. We're having a good time. He's super positive about what he's done. And I said, "Well, what did you attach it to?" And he gives me this 75-year-old man stare. I said, "Well, what did you attach the ground wire to?" And he goes, "Well, I just detached it." So, if you have any electrical background, in a three-prong dryer plug, there's no ground. So where do you hook up that ground wire? I hope he hooked it up to the neutral. I hope he didn't do it at all, but he did. The downside is then he's energized the housing of the dryer. Or worse still, if the neutral's not bonded in back, he hooked it up to a hot. And the whole shell of that dryer is energized all the time. So you look to the right in this picture. Let me open my laptop so I can see the picture again. Somebody's managed to replace the 120-volt plug behind the washing machine. It's grounded. So that means that washing machine is solidly grounded. It's an equipment grounding conductor. The dryer next to it is energized. There you go. So we talked about shock potential. Yeah, it's just amazing. And then I saw the pool noodles, and it just kept getting better. And so I didn't want to get lost on that. And I said, "Well, we'll fix that." And I don't know how long it's been like that, but a long time. So right now we're going to come into the whiteboard. As you look, just let this picture sink in. You've got two amazing older people here walking around the house they've lived in for 30 plus years with what's really a really dangerous situation that they have done a workaround with pool noodles. And it's a do-it-yourselfer type of gig. But let's dig into the electrical side of this a little closer. So come on in. I've drawn rather a life-changing diagram here. So here's our scenario. 1974 home. If you can make sure you see this. So we have a 30 amp 240 volt plug. It's original. I looked up close. It's definitely original. So there is no ground, which is common for 220 appliances back in that time. And so I didn't check it to see if the neutral was bonded in the back. Again, on old ranges and ovens and dryers, it was common to bond the neutral to the casing of the appliance. So when I'm drawing the ground wire, he ran a ground jumper from one of the terminals and bonded this somehow. So this is already grounded through the plug, but there's no GFI. So we have potentially that this has 120 volts on it. This is energized. So what better color? The dryer is hot. Washer is grounded. So if you use your body to connect this, you have potential and it flows through your body, probably your heart. And there you go. That's a huge issue. So here's my question for you guys. Besides, I'm still hung up on pool noodles. Sidebar. What if, not my company, but let's say somebody who is entrepreneurial sold pool noodles as appliance safety bumpers? It saves you from sharp edges and shocks. Anyways, just the entrepreneurial side of me coming out there. All right, back to this. So here's my question to you geniuses out there, homeowners and otherwise. So there's no GFI right now in this plug. Okay, they've replaced the plug, but they didn't put a GFI. So let me ask you this: if they made this a GFI, this condition needs to be remedied. But if this had already been a GFI, this is the what if this had already been a GFI, would it have tripped when they touched this? Here's my people with long arms. When they touched this to this, and they had current. So fortunately, I don't think this is 120 volts necessarily, because they said tingle versus going to the hospital. Hard to say. That's really actually an amperage issue, not voltage. But so here's the voltage going through. Okay. Would the GFI, if this had been GFI protected from the get-go, would the GFI have tripped or not? So part of this is, if this is a GFI and is looking for current loss, this loop, if this was a GFI, would be continuous for the washing machine current. There'd be no loss of current. So I don't know if having extra current, i.e. from the dryer circuit, if we doubled up on this, if that would cause the GFI to trip. I'm asking that rhetorically, I don't know. The right thing to do is not have this grounding death trap with pool noodles. Now, me back to my sidebar. So if we marketed these pool noodles as safety bumpers, we would definitely make them red. I'm open to suggestions. Back to being an electrician. So this whole thing was so surreal to me because the people were super bubbly and positive. They're elderly. And here is the irony, and here's where I'm going to wrap this up. The irony is the wife says at some point, very sweet lady says, you know what? He knows just enough to be dangerous. Here you go. Take a look at the picture. I'm looking forward to your questions and comments. Have a great day.